What's the deal, pickles? Y'all, I am back and we are here to talk about our first episode of Pursuing Purpose. Now, it wasn't until some of you commented on the last video that I remembered that we've done this several times, like not every year, but for the past few years, I've had some sort of talk like this. And I think that's pretty dope that we sort of have this reset together. And so for this episode, y'all know that this is a little bit different, but then because I have those old videos, it really isn't. We are ready to get into a new year. And I really want you to think about, as we dive into this video, what if 2025 could be the year your biggest dreams finally start to feel achievable? And as I started taking notes on this, I was thinking about how, do we really want to think about your biggest dream ever? And I think the answer is yes, because the reality is, if you have a huge dream, then what makes that huge dream achievable is how you sort of get it into bite-sized pieces, or you get it in and scale it down to manageable parts so that you know exactly what you're doing to get you to where you want to go. And so I want you to really think about, what is that biggest goal for you? Or even if it's a dream you've always had and you're giving yourself permission to finally do it, to pursue it, to make it a part of the thing that you are striving for, starting right now, but really going into this new year. And so I want you to just sort of think about, if you woke up every single day with a clear plan and knowing exactly what to do, exactly what steps to take, exactly what is on your agenda for today or this week to make those goals possible. And that is our goal. And that's what we're diving into today. And so during this, I will be sharing some of the notes. Y'all, I got notes. Sharing some of the notes that I have. I'm also going to be unboxing my 2025 planner. And I'm also going to show you one of my digital aspects of my planner, both in Notion and in Google Docs. So you're going to see how I sort of do both digital and analog, because for me, they are both equally as important. So with that said, if you are not sticking around, then do your girl a solid, thumbs up this video, leave a comment in the comment section, and let us know, what do you do to prepare for the new year? How do you ensure that those goals that you have for the year are accounted for, and that you have a sort of plan or strategy to accomplish them during the year, or the quarter, or the week? Let us know. For everyone else who's sticking around, go ahead, grab your beverage, grab your project, and you might want to grab your journal, and I will see you after the introduction. Let's go. I've been down so in love like 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 in love like Welcome back. My name is Dana. This is the Freedom Please channel and essenceofme.com. Y'all, I have literally been thinking about this episode and everything that I want to do with this mini series, and it's made me so excited. So every time I had a chance, I was taking down notes and writing them down, and you can't see them, but I'm really trying to make sure that I get through the things that I wanted to share with you, mainly because this isn't just for me. This is for you too. And I was so thankful that some of you left comments on the last video and reminded me that we've done this before. And so that made me feel better because it wasn't coming out of left field. Also because I have big goals that I am moving towards this year. And so I really wanted to be intentional. And I thought, who else to share it with? We did it in with my clients in our virtual retreat a few weeks ago. And now we're doing a mini version of it here on my YouTube channel. So, one of the things I will be very clear on is that I do use multiple tools to help keep me on track. You do not have to use everything. At the end of the day, I really would like for you to take it in and then look at the things that align with how you like to move. Now, I'm going to say that with a huge caveat. If the way you are moving is not working for you, then you might need to look at something else. Okay. But if you are really confident and sure on how you like to move and plan, then I'm not saying to change that. I'm just sharing with you what I do. And so, yeah, we'll take it from there. I will also end this with some simple prompts that you can think about to help you with setting your goals for the year. And that's if you don't have any or you don't know. I personally love prompts. I find that if I don't have prompts, sometimes my mind is going everywhere. And so having the prompts help me to sort of calm down, focus, and then begin to move through the different steps and stages. And then it becomes really crystal clear for me as I begin the next phases of my planning. So I will end with those prompts. And if time allows, I'll be doing some other things to keep us on track as we move forward beyond this mini series. So with that said, I'm going to ask you a question. What's one goal you've been carrying into every new year but haven't quite been able to achieve? One goal that you have in your back pocket and that you really would like to go after, but you just won't take that step or give yourself permission to move forward. And I keep saying permission, and there probably is a much better word to explain it. But to me, if it's there and it won't go anywhere, then it's usually I'm the hang up, right? That I haven't allowed myself the permission and given myself great, really just said, I'm going to do this, and it's not going anywhere. And so I'd love for you to think about what that one goal is. And so maybe it's writing a book. Maybe it's starting your side hustle. Maybe it's starting your YouTube channel. Maybe you want to build healthier habits for your personal self, for your family, in your business. Whatever it is, you're not alone. There are people around you everywhere. And right now, you probably have them everywhere because people are thinking about the new year. One of the biggest reasons that people probably struggle with this is because they lack some sort of system. And if you are anywhere on YouTube, you know how it goes. Like we see the planners, we see we see planner stacks. You see people doing Notion stuff. Like there are so many options, and sometimes there are so many options that we do nothing. And so, again, I don't want this to be one of those videos. I do want this to give you an opportunity to just kick it around in your head and then do what works for you. But I also hope that this will get you excited and help you to see that there really are very simple approaches that you can do to tackle something big. I always think about Goliath, right? Listen, David took him down with 5 smooth stones, okay? So we're just going to gather our stones, okay? The final thing that I want to say is that I am an advocate for planners. You probably are not surprised. Okay. I am a planner person, whether I am planning a the next move in my business, or I'm planning a book. I am a plotter. So, but I am also a person that when I have that plan, I don't hold it with a death grip. I'm very aware and very prayerful and mindful to move in a way that Spirit tells me to move. But I do like having my plan laid out so that I am accountable for my time, and so that I get to do not just the things that I need to do, but I get to do the things that I love to do. And that's what planning gives me, because I can do the things that are necessary for my business, but I can also do my crafting, I can do my quilting, I can hang out with my husband, I can go do things with my kids. And having a plan is what allows me to be productive and successful and profitable in my business, but also being a very present wife, mother, coach, friend, all of those things as well. And it's because I have a plan and I'm very aware of where I'm going and how I'm going to get there. And so I know that about myself, and I would really love it if you are able to be very confident in that for yourself as well. So to begin with, I do both analog and I do digital, and I'm going to open up my 2025 planner in just a second. There is a sort of dance that I do between my calendar. I do block off my calendar. If if you have questions about that, we can always talk about that. Let me know in the comments. But I do block out my time, and then I look at what I want to do for the year, and then I break it down into quarters so that I don't have to look at the huge plan, but like one quarter at a time. There was an amazing book called The 12-Week Year that I found that was really helpful years ago. I think I maybe read it 2 or 3 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, to even get even better with looking at it in 12-week increments. And now it's just a way of life for me. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into unboxing my planner. I have been waiting to open this baby. Oh, make sure I don't share my address. Because I wanted to open it on camera. I did not bring a knife. If you've been around here for any period of time, you know that I have gone through physical planners. I was an Erin Condren planner person for a long time until the pandemic, and then some stuff that went on with that. And for quite a few years, I used Happy Planners. I really liked Happy Planners. I still use the Happy Planner system because I love being able to add additional paper to the planner, which is really good for me. But I missed the sturdiness of my Erin Condren planner. And so last year was the first year since pre-pandemic that I have used an Erin Condren. And actually, I think I'm gonna take that back. No, yes, it was. Last year was so 2024 was the first time back, and I went back with the Erin Condren this year. So I'm gonna open it up. Ooh. So this year, I don't know what this one is called. Here it is. And they have, look at the bookmark. Oh, love this. I don't think they've had that before. I don't ever remember that. I absolutely love this sort of muted color. If anybody knows, I love butterflies. So as soon as I saw that it was butterflies, I was all over it. This is a different format. I've never done this format before, and I don't know if it was new for 2025, but let me show you. Look at this format. Can you see it? I love it. Okay. The reason why I love it is because I do not keep like appointments in my planner. A part of the system is that all of my appointments go into one calendar, and whether they are people booking consultations, whether I have coaching calls, whether I am teaching, hosting workshops, all of those all go into my Google Calendar. So I don't need to account for that in my planner. What I usually account for in my physical planner is at the beginning of the week, I look at everything that I need to do and begin to start jotting down and taking notes. I also account for in the moment meetings and things going on during that week in my physical planner. Now, what ends up happening too, which I think is amazing that I've been having a lot of fun, is I go back to old planners where I didn't have as much writing, and I use those for brainstorming. And you can't see it, but I may take notes and sketch in them, but like now my like checklist, phone numbers that I need to call, things like that, things that are bouncing around in my head, those all go into my physical planner, and it makes it so that I can sort of get a snapshot of what I have going on, and it keeps me from bouncing around. Another thing that I absolutely, now a downside of this, and I probably just missed it, is I prefer a Sunday start, but I'm just going to have to rock with it because I didn't realize it because this is a Monday start. And which will be fine because I'll probably end up blocking out this entire section right here, which is where Sunday is. And I usually will like gather notes and things that I need to have for the day. I'm so excited about this. And then there's like almost as if it's like watercolor. Now, one of the other things that I have for this planner that I invested in was this punch board so that you can make inserts to go into any well, not any planner, but just about all of them. For spiral bound, for disc bound, this is a punch for that. So that means I can add to it if I want to without a whole lot of issues. And so I'm looking forward to that as well. So that is my analog, which I'm so glad because this one is I'm at the tail end, and I love looking at the monthly spread and the annual spread to see where things are. The next thing that I'm going to show you is, this is a great time to show you my digital. Now, I'm not going to show you my Google because y'all, it's all kind of stuff in there. So if people have questions, just let me know. But I'm going to show you my Notion board, and I'm going to also show you my Google spreadsheet. They are not fully populated because I knew I was going to be showing them, which is why I needed to hurry up and record this. And then I just use them all together, mostly looking at things at the top of the week, then going and adding them to my physical planner. And then my Notion keeps me with tasks on the day-to-day basis. So let's go ahead and take a look at my Notion board for tracking my goals. I'm going to just show a really quick look at this basic goal calendar. It's not an official calendar the way individual dates are selected, but once I look at the big picture, I sort of break things down into quarters, and that makes it so that I can take a big goal and put it down into smaller elements. And before we sort of just look at this real quick, because I haven't moved everything over, I was waiting to record this, I want to sort of play with just a concept. So let me just slide over. One of the biggest lessons that I had to learn early on, I'm just going to leave myself here, was when I used to plan, it made it so hard for me to move forward because I realized that I would make these huge goals or I would make my goals and it would look like just a handful of goals. And I'm like, oh, great. Let me keep adding goals on as an example. And for some reason in my mind, I really didn't give a lot of thought into what were the subcomponents in order to make that plan a reality. And that is what I find was a bridge that I had to cross to become more, to accomplish the things that I wanted to accomplish. And on one hand, I can say more productive. I think that makes some people squeamish. But for me, it was so that on a day-to-day basis, I can see what I need to do today. And in my mind, I know that there is a direct tether to the ultimate goal. Because my goal may be, as an example, complete this novel, write this novel. Well, today it's not to finish the novel. Today may be to write 1,000 words. And I know that the 1,000 words connects to the 1,000 that I did yesterday and the 1,000 that I'll do tomorrow, as the example would require, to reach the goal of completing the book. Looking at it on a daily basis of complete 1,000 words is a lot easier to digest than to complete 70,000 words or 100,000 words. And you can look at the same for any goal that you are aiming to achieve. So here I would say to you, identify the goal, and then begin to ask yourself sort of what are the elements, or what's the breakdown of that goal. So I'm going to still use the example of write a novel, just because it's easy. I could do that at the back of my mind. So I think people always start off with, of course, the manuscript, right? And let's just be generous. We're going to say this is a 70,000 word manuscript. But, or actually, I'm going to do one better. Actually, I'm going to leave it at write. I'm not even going to say publish. People think about the manuscript. Oh, get the manuscript. But you hardly ever stop to think about, well, dang, do you have an idea? Have you thought about the characters? Have you thought about the setting? In the essence of writing the manuscript, how many chapters? How long do you want it to take? I'm going to just say timeline. They may not even consider editing. And beta readers, I don't know. There's so many other components that are nestled under that write a novel. And when you begin to look at what's under the hood of this idea or of this goal, then this becomes the elements that find their way to, for example, those are my notes, to something like this. Right? Or on my weekly of like, okay, Mondays I'm going to do this, Tuesdays I'm doing this, Wednesdays I'm doing this, all towards going to that big goal of writing that novel. But on the day-to-day basis, it may not look like writing a novel. It may look like strategizing and creating ideas, or it may look like editing, or it may look like communicating with my team or my support team. And so part of this is where this structure comes from. It's that if I have those larger goals, what do they look like on a month by month basis? What are the milestones that I want to complete in this month to ensure that I reach the quarterly goal? So the quarterly goal may be to publish. I wouldn't even say a novel, but I would say something. So let's just say publish, I don't know, a Little Lamb. I don't know where that came from, but it's all good. So in January, it may be complete manuscript. In February, it may be manuscript with editor. And in March, it may be manuscript, a novel with ARC team, as an example. And I think for everyone, this is different. And over the years, I have looked at what I want to do over the course of the year, and I'll have those things written out, but I slowly matriculate those elements to this sort of view so that it's not overwhelming. So by the time I finish working on this year, I will have a few things sort of scattered here, and then I'll put things that I know, like concrete dates of releases and things like that, across the rest of it. But for the most part, it'll just be just high level view until I go in right before that quarterly review, and then I'll put the details and sort of work them out here. Now, I will say one more thing about this, which is I don't like to, like, for example, only put a few things in January and wait for January to do February and March. I feel like sometimes when we're underneath the burden of reality, we can retract, or we can cause ourselves to play small because we don't know how we are going to accomplish that for real, right? We don't know how we're going to get that done. And I believe that's where faith steps in, right? Faith, and also calling upon a version of yourself that you want to be a part of your everyday life, not just out there in the future. And that's why I like looking at the quarter, because it allows me to be ambitious. It allows me not to be burdened by, for lack of a better way of saying it, reality. And then when it's time to start breaking things down, that's when we get to the nitty gritty. And it's like a switching of hats, right? Like the person who is sort of casting the vision is the visionary, and it may be the CEO, but the CEO is not the one that does the day-to-day work, right? Yeah, they do some work, right? But they don't do the day-to-day, like, nitty-gritty work all the time. And that's sort of like that in this scenario, right? You have your big vision, and then you look at your day-to-day things. Another thing that having this sort of structure does is it allows you also, if you work it in, it gives you an opportunity to have some time of reflection and look back over what you've done over that quarter, which is, I usually do it like 1 to 2 weeks towards the end of the quarter before I begin to brainstorm and sort of flesh out the next quarter, because you might need to make adjustments. You may have been too ambitious, or sometimes things just takes more time than you realize, or you didn't know what you didn't know until you were in the middle of it. And that's where I do like to extend grace and being realistic, being problematic, so that you're looking at any problems or issues or bottlenecks, looking for any opportunities that you have to scale and grow and move a little bit faster. And then there also are times where you just are okay with going with the journey the way that it is. That's where you have to make the decision for yourself. But having the time to sort of look at it in the beginning and then reflect at the end before working on the next quarter. And so I think all of that, it takes on different shapes depending on you as a person, and how you move through the world. The final thing that I'm going to say about this before I move forward, which we don't see here, but it's definitely something that once I'm all done, I'm just going to put this right here for a second, is that I love to have an incentive. And everything that I do, I have an incentive for when I accomplish that thing. One of the driving I guess you could say it's a principle, I don't know. But one of the driving factors in everything that I do, business, personal, is that I don't wait for someone else to pat me on the back for a job well done. I'm going to do it for myself. I'm not going to wait on somebody else to do it. And what that has allowed me to do, number one, I give myself really good gifts. Number two, it allows whatever my results are to be whatever the results are. As long as I do everything that I can in my power, and I do everything with intention and with the right heart posture and the right mindset, and doing right by people who are around me, then everything else is going to be what it is. And I'm not looking for validation or reward from the external. It's coming from me. And so I strongly recommend having some sort of incentive. So whether when this project is completed, this is what I'm going to give myself. And listen, don't be cheap. This does not mean go break the bank. Don't say Dana said do that. But what this means is put down things that are really going to make you happy or excited to have. Sometimes for me, it's something so tiny. It's a charm from James Avery. Other times it's a new bag. It's another time. Sometimes it might be a car, right? You don't know what it is, and there's no judgment in that. It's something that you're giving yourself. And so I really suggest having an incentive, and not just one at the end of the quarter. I like every time I release a book, we do something. Every time I complete a big project, we do something. And so I just feel like it should go hand in hand, so that it makes it so that you are excited, not just by the potential, but to embark on the journey because something good is on the other side. It is. And that your reward isn't based upon results, but it's based upon completion, that you've done the thing that you set out to do. I believe that there is something else that's rooted there that I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I know it's got to be something, which is the ability to do what you say you're going to do, and in honor of something that is really important to yourself, that you are showing up. And to me, I always see this as in my personhood, and everything within me knows that I can be trusted with me, that I can be trusted with my goals, that I can be trusted with my energy and my abilities and my gifts and my skills. And I believe that there's something about that that's fuel. And that it makes me feel like I can do anything I put my mind to, because I know that if it's within my power, I will do what I am called to do. And so I believe those things go hand in hand, that your heart and your mind and your soul knows that you can be trusted with the visions and the gifts that you've been given. And the more that you can be trusted, the more that will be given to you. And so with that said, that is my my sort of goals that I sort of will lay out. I'll be filling in a lot of this. I'm still doing the last bit of it for myself, and even still writing out notes and allowing myself to quilt and journal and get everything down. And literally, we have a couple days left, but it's all good. It's all good. Never fret. It's going down. For my business stuff, it's all laid out pretty much. Deadlines and everything for the first quarter are in the bag for the most part. All of my curriculum and everything is prepped and pre-planned, and there's still stuff that needs to be fleshed out, but it's there. And so I would say, as you watch this, look at your core components of your life, whether it's your life, your business, your school, your family, your health, your finances, and those core areas, and begin to identify the things that you would like to see happen over the next year, and the things that you would like to be facts and true in your world, and begin to just dive in. And so let's go ahead and close out this video with the prompts that I promised you. Before I give you the prompts that you can think about to help you on this first stage, I'd like to sort of wrap up a few key things that I think are important before we get to the prompts. Number one, I would say as you begin to break down your goals, like you have that big goal and you begin to sort of break them down, build in some sort of weekly check-in. For me, that's on Sundays. I usually do my check-in on Sundays. I also look at my calendar for the upcoming week, and that's when I sort of put it into my physical calendar, anything that I need to, think about or review or research, etc. But building in that time, when you do that review, don't forget to celebrate your wins. What things do you need to adjust? What are your big things to focus on? And don't overwhelm yourself with a million things. I like to have 3, no more than 4. And typically it's 4 for me because I just have them over the key areas of my life. But, that you're really focusing on, and also have some sort of benchmark of whether, if I get this one thing done this week, it's a slam dunk. Everything else is gravy sort of vibe. The second thing will be, having ways to make it visual. And I plan to show you a digital, how you can do a digital vision board. I'm also going to show you my purpose journal, which is coming up in the next episode of this mini series. But having a way to make it visual, whether it's by having photos or quotes or affirmations in these places. So I usually will write something across the top of my journal of my calendar every week. Like what my main focus is, I'll put a scripture or a quote, something to sort of just ground my week. And I just find that while I'm moving through the week and things can get hard, and sometimes things are wonderful and sometimes they're not, it is really grounding to have that for reference. The final thing is start small, right? The reason why I was so overwhelmed for so many years is because I just had these huge goals and they looked so monstrous, and it almost felt like I was trying to scale Mount Everest. And the reality is, on a day-to-day basis, you're not trying to scale Mount Everest. You're just trying to write, in this case, 1,000 words. And that is a lot easier to break down into manageable pieces than trying to look at this huge thing, especially if your goal is intended to cover over time. Our goals that may take us 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, 10 years, breaking it up in smaller, approachable increments allows you to have small wins and build up momentum over time. It also allows you to have this like breadcrumb trail sort of scenario where you can look back and connect the dots of what you've done to help you get to this place. And that really does help when you have big dreams and aspirations for yourself. Okay. So those are the 3 things. Set in your weekly check-in. Find a way, if you can, to make it visual, especially if you're someone that is a visual learner, or you can even take that visual and make it auditory, maybe recording your goals and listening to that recording on a daily basis. However it is that allows it to sort of sink into your being and your subconscious is going to be a win for you. And the final thing is starting small, right? Taking those big goals and breaking them down into smaller, manageable tasks and things to complete that will build the bridge towards your bigger goal and aspirations. The final thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you these final prompts that you can reflect upon to help you with this stage. And let's jump into it. The first prompt that I have for you is, what's one big goal you want to achieve in 2025? This is a great time. If you want to, you can pause this and write it out. You can say it to yourself, but I will tell you this, write it down. You want to write it down. You want to write it down. You need to write it down. Okay. Number 2, why is this goal important to you? I remember when I used to hear know your why. I used to be like, hard eye roll. because I always felt like my why was pretty much the same. But I now embrace the why as an opportunity to help myself to see how what I'm doing today connects to something bigger and something much more important that keeps me rooted and grounded when things are maybe not going my way. Okay? So why is this goal important to you? And the final reflection prompt is, what's the first small step you can take toward this goal today? What is the first small step you can take towards this goal today? There you have it. Y'all, we completed this first episode of this Pursuing Purpose mini series. I'm looking forward to coming back with the second episode of this mini series, and that is where we're going to talk about my purpose journal. And also I'm going to show you some little tips if you want to create a digital vision board. I think having imagery, like I already said, is so important. And we're going to get into all of those details and jazz of how I keep what I am aiming for and pursuing at the front of mind daily. And I'll show you exactly how I did it. So I will see you all hopefully sooner than later. If you have not done so, go to the comments and let me know if I'm talking to you, girl, if I'm all up in your business. Also, let us know if there's any questions that you have, and I will see you all hopefully sooner than later. Take care. Don't forget to thumbs up the video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all soon. Take care and goodbye. I've been